Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my weekly trading video and I get a lot of questions about the Jason Graystone trend continuation strategy, which I gave you the entire strategy. There's a 5-part video series on this channel that you can go and watch and take this strategy and make it your own, and you can go and watch that after this one. But I'm going to give you a little opportunity here or an insight into something I'm looking at on the pound dollar, where I'll be looking at using that strategy to enter this trade. So let's get stuck into the charts. So first of all, you're looking at TradingView. This is the 3 time frame setup here, where you've got the daily time frame up the top, and then we've got the 4 hour down here, which is my first trading time frame, and then we've got the hourly down the bottom right for potential entries and trade management. But what I want to share with you first is the daily time frame, because that's where we get our bias, our thesis, our bird's eye view, our overall view of the market, so that we can identify what phase the market's in, what's likely to happen next, and where price is likely to go and how it's likely to get there. And as you can see, following a long sideways move on this pair that lasted a few weeks, really, we had this ascending channel. We finally broke the highs that I was looking at up here at 37.50. Now looking left, if we look left at structure, you can see that yes, there's some support in here, but really the next level of resistance is right up here. Okay, you can see I've got this alert level here on my trading view, because I set that alert because that is a level that I'd look for a structure based shorting opportunity. But we're not there yet, but we have broken out of this resistance zone, which means if these levels are like magnets, we're likely to test that level next. So what can we do? There's some potential room for longs, for growth, so we can potentially get some profits out of buying this market up. So the thesis is long, the prediction is long, the prediction is 142 at least. How's it likely to get there? Well, it's either going to go straight up, or we're going to see the nice ebbs and flows, which brings us on to my first trading time frame. Now, before we go down there, you can see on the daily time frame that the moving averages are crossing really they're fanning out, okay, which indicates strengthening in a trend. And if we drop down to the 4 hour, you're going to see that we've had this nice break and close above. So if I just bring on this trend line here, you can see that we've had the higher high, and then we've had the higher close. Now, if you're familiar with my Graystone trend continuation strategy, you'll know that we look for that higher close, then the pullback, then the new high, then the pullback, and that's when we can start looking for that pullback and looking for those 3 types of entries, those 3 zones, so we can get in. And essentially, it's a three opportunities to get involved and attack the trend, from conservative to mid conservative to aggressive, so that we don't miss the moves. And I'm going to go through each of the zones that I might be looking at here in order to get involved. So the first things first, we're starting to get our pullback, right? So immediately we can draw on the kill zones, right? So the first kill zone is going to be the highest high to the highest close, which is going to be this zone right here. And that is going to be the first zone where I look to buy this up. So you can see we're pushing into that almost pushing into that right now. So that would be the first chance entry. The second chance entry is going to be the highest high to the lowest low of the pullback. And we'll color this in a different color to make it nice and clear. Let's just color this in pink. So we've got green and pink. This will be the second chance entry. Now you can see that's a big broad zone. And because this is the pound dollar, it's got a large ATR. So you want to be careful with these, because ideally, if you're going to get a 1-to-1 reward to risk, it's quite a broad zone. If your stops are going below the low, it means that you're going to have quite a bit of risk on the table. So I wouldn't personally be looking at the top half of this zone. I'd be looking for a pull right down into kill zone number 2. And then finally, kill zone number 3 is the last chance entry, which is going to be the lowest low to the lowest close, which is going to be down here. And we'll color this in yellow. And those are the 3 kill zones. So now we've drawn out the kill zones. How can we enter? So what I'll be looking for is a push into this first kill zone for chance 1, and I'll be looking for a retest of this zone on the lower time frame. So I can look down on the 60, and if we get a little double bottom here, I can enter on the next bar market of a valid double bottom. Okay, and as long as the valid double bottom is valid, meaning that the rules of a double bottom are met, in other words, we don't violate the initial test and it forms by at least touching this zone, then I can get in. If we don't form a double bottom, then we'll look for a pull down into the second chance entry, where we'll be looking for a pull into this pink zone here, and that's where I'll be looking for a higher high, higher close. Now I have two things to bear in mind if I'm looking for a higher high, higher close. One is the reward to risk profile. So if we're looking to get long, in other words, I want a minimum of a 1-to-1 for first targets, okay? Because I'll be splitting my positions on this. I'll be trailing my secondary targets up to that 142 flat level. But just to take my first targets off of the table, my first profits off the table, I want a minimum of a 1-to-1 reward to risk. So that's the first thing to bear in mind. So immediately I can drill down here and I can work out where my stops need to go based on the current ATR. I can adjust that nearer the time, but current ATR, and then I'll know exactly the lowest or the highest in the market I can enter in order to get a 1-to-1 reward to risk. So I can adjust my second chance entry down slightly, so I'm no longer looking at that higher level, I'm looking at getting involved here, and I know that if I get involved here, I'm going to get a reward to risk in my favor. The second thing I'll look at in a second chance entry is the maximum risk on the table. Now you can see this is a large risk, okay? So we've got a big old risk on the table there, right? It's about 85, 86 pips or so at the moment. So if you do have a maximum risk limit, then you're going to want to watch out for that on this pair. As I say, the ATR is quite large on this pair, but you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that as well. And then if we don't get the higher high, higher close candle, meaning we don't get that kind of reversal set up in this kill zone, then I can finally look for my third chance entry, which will be very similar to the first chance entry. And the reason I wait for a double bottom down here is because the theory behind that is we're pulling all the way back, which means that the trend is weakening, which means I want a conservative entry that will give me an aggressive order execution. So just by being a bit more conservative with the approach and waiting for that double bottom confirmation, then I can get an aggressive at market order and have a massive reward to risk. Because if you get in on the third chance, you know you're going to have a reward to risk of something like this, and that's great. Now what you have to understand is the third chance is the lowest strike rate but the highest reward to risk. The second chance entry is the highest strike rate, a medium reward to risk, and then the first chance entry is again, it's a lower strike rate but it's got a great reward to risk. So depending on your style of trading and your personality, that's why this strategy is so great, because there's an entry for everyone, but it's also a way to catch the trend and be a bit more aggressive in capturing the move and not missing the move. So that's what's on the radar. I thought I'd share that with you. If you haven't watched the whole strategy, the 5-part video series, go back and watch that. It's an entire strategy, one video after the other. You can learn the entire strategy. This is exactly what I trade every day. So go and check that out. Let us know what you think, and let us know in the comments how you trade a trend. I'm interested in how you trade a trend. I'm sure all of the other subscribers to this channel will love to see your comments in there as well. So until next time, take care. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the markets. Take care.